difficulties.
Hear this. All who attend in this sacred forest grove. All things have a spirit that moves where you rove. They are the Landvaettir.
This world is sentient, fiercely alive. The Landvaettir spirits keep watch on the coast, protecting the valley, the world you hold most. We treat them as persons with honor and dread, for safety will vanish if reverence is dead. The law of the gift is the contract we keep, an offering given while the wild forests sleep.
In the flame that bright, fierce spiritual heat, he's not mastered by man, but is humble to me. He brings warmth to the hearth, a reprieve from the cold, but demands deep reverence, so the tale is untold.
Its power is fierce, a consuming desire, so negotiate softly and call it divine. You carry and what you strive for. The Hugr is your thought, your conscious design, the strong willful mind that breaks every line. It leaves the frail body when slumber is deep, a seeking self-line while your weak limbs sleep. The stronger your Hugr, the greater its scope. Your thoughts can influence, your fears bring down hope.
Your Fylgja is waiting in the guide through the years, the double spirit that conquers your fears. The Valkyrie protector is the power you hold, who holds a sharp blade that is fiercely unknown. If you see it awake, your own death is nigh. If the animal falls, then the soul thread will die.
The animal Fylgja reveals what you are, a mirror of status that travels afar. The bear speaks of leaders, the bull shows great might. The wolf is fierce loyalty or dark hidden blight. The fox shows the cunning of wizards and seers, but birds are for women who conquer all fears. Look deep at the beast that reflects your true worth. It shows what you're known for upon this wide earth.
Frame rate.
That you forge a spiritual river that swells at the gorge. Do deeds of great honor and your bright luck will grow. Be wicked and knowing just shadows will flow. This power is transferable when your life is done. A legacy
I might have to restart this.
the sun. The wealth of the spirit is the kindness you sow. This covenant of kinship is all that you know. Quick thought and your Fylgja's true power. Your Hamingja rests on this critical hour. For the soul cannot flourish, its luck won't be sown if the Landvaettir's law is forgotten and left unknown. Master your Hugr, let your Hamingja flow. Honor the spirits in all that you know. Now go, my children, stewards of the land.
Ooh, no, stay. Stop. Alright, so hopefully this is working properly. I've never done this before, so we'll see if it works or not. If I need to and reset the frame rate, if the frame rate gets too bad, let me know, because I'm still in the process of making all of this work. Anyways, this is my introduction to Norse Pagan Animism. I have had a lot of time learning and studying this belief system, and it's one thing that's always bothered me is a lot of people really misunderstand it. They like to think that, you know, they learn about through Vikings or the Marvel series, and they're like, oh, that's really cool, and then they kind of take like a very Christian take on it and bring those characters in as characters. But they're not characters, they're, you know, spirits, they're gods, they're entities, they're metaphors. And that's something that's really, really, really misunderstood. And hopefully I can actually see comments properly. I don't know if it's loading fully, so we'll see. I have to refresh it every so often. So if somebody, while this is live, wants to post a current comment, that'd be great. Just so that I know about where we're at with everything. Because it doesn't want to seem to do much. Yep, okay, cool. Thank you, Brandon. My big question for a lot of people is, where do you stand with this kind of belief system? What do you think of it? Like, how are you introduced? Do you have that viewpoint where they are, you know, people see them as physical people, but in a spiritual form? So that's kind of where I'd like to see where people are at, because I'm sure most people don't actually understand exactly what the gods really are. So I'll give a moment. If you can throw out comments, whichever. You know, there's not a whole lot of viewers, so I'll probably just continue on with the. I have a whole lesson plan. You'll find it in the link of the description, so you can follow along with it. I'm just, since I'm not a teacher, I'm going to probably have to read it. Yeah. Hopefully the audio quality on the mic is okay. I totally forgot to unplug the fridge fan. Oh no! My bad. Hopefully the drone's not too bad. Alright, so we've gotten some time. So, we're going to go in, what is animism? What is that belief system, specifically in the Norse world? Animism is the belief that everything around us has spirit, right? So, as you can see, I have a thing here. So, animism is everything possesses a spirit and soul. That is known as the Vettir, the Vetter, all right? Now, some of these I'm going to pronounce weirdly. I'm going to give you a couple different options on how people pronounce them, because languages are different, all right? And some people, like, you get to this one, you know, there's Hamr or Ham, all right? Or, like, you got the Hugr or the Hugr. It all depends. We'll get into those, but yeah. Anyways, animism is the belief that everything has a spirit. From the mountains, to the rivers, to the rocks, to me, to your cat, to your dog, your wife, beautiful wife over there, or my beautiful job. Anyways, they're off the screen. Everything, including these pieces of paper. And it is our job in this world to respect all of it. This is where it's a give and take in this world, right? So the first thing I'm going to go over is what's known as the Landvaettir. The Landvaettir are the spirits of the land. It's literally land spirits. Thorben, that's a light. Cute kid. Anyways, so Landvaettir literally translates to land spirits. It's the spirits within the ground, the trees, the plants, everything. So, like, how do we know that the trees and whatnot have spirit, or even plants? Have you heard the myths or the stories where people will play music, and depending on what kind of music there is, dictates whether the plant does well in its growth, or if it, you know, kind of flops over and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to make this a little wider so I can see Hello, Tariq and Joshua, and well, we know Brandon's here, so hello. So with that, the Landvaettir, they're the Guardians. I'm going to do a brief overview, and then I'm going to kind of dive into them. The next thing is going to be the Hamr, or the Ham. And this is the flexible form of the soul, because that's the other part, is we're going to go in a couple parts of your soul. So this is really popular in Hinduism and other spiritual aspects where you have a multi-part soul. The Ham is going to be your skin. Like, it is the flexible, see it is flexible, it's your flexible skin. But that's a part of your spirit, right? And then you're going to have the Hugr, or Hugr. This is going to be the thought soul, so your thoughts, right? It's when you're in dream state, trance state, the everyday life that you're currently in. It's gonna be in your mind. It's your thought, right? And then you have the Fylgja. Fylgja is going to be, and this is not to be confused with Native American spirit animals. You have your technically spirit animal, but it is more of a animal companion that follows you. And this directly represents, like, it's whatever that animal is the form of represents your character. And then you have the second half of the Fylgja, which is going to be your guardian spirit. Think of it, for those that have a Christian-based background, think of it as like your guardian angel, right? So it's almost always going to be a female-based spirit. And that's pretty standard. There's a lot more. I'll go into more of these. And then the last thing that we'll touch on is your Hamingja, which is your luck or good fortune. This is another spirit entity, and these are all spirit parts of your inner soul spirit. I prefer to use the word spirit because soul is more of a Christian-based terminology that was given. So I will use them interchangeably, but I prefer spirit over soul. But Hamingja is going to be a female spirit that dictates the kind of luck that you give based off how you interact with the Landvaettir and other Vaettir, or the humans, and specifically with the female Fylgja and the Hamingja spirit. They're both very tightly connected. How you treat women in society heavily dictates your Hamingja. So, anyways, so going into the first part, this is going to be Lesson 1, Animistic, and the integrated self, the foundation of the worldview. We pretty much already went over that one. But why does animism exist? It exists as the core principle for survival and morality in the Norse cosmos. So our entire system, it's going to have a necessary coexistence. And since humans are merely just one type of conscious person in a world full of Vaettir, so we are just one of many, right? So like the rocks and whatnot, it's going to interact with that. And it demands respect, and we need to have respect for things so that we avoid catastrophic consequences if we offend the local spirits. And so I'm going to fast forward a little bit here to the Landvaettir, because that's pretty much the basis of animism. So we kind of touched on the Landvaettir. They are the spirits of the land. And why do they exist? They are actually the spiritual guardians of the land that we exist around, right? So they're going to dictate whether the crops grow well. They're going to dictate whether you have, a nice, healthy environment around you. And they can interact and, how to word this? They can dictate whether you have a good life or just constantly dealing with problems within your life. If they abandon the luck, the land, they can cause it to pretty much go death and decay and curse it. So that's really important. This was really important to our ancestors. And there were actually laws back then around the Landvaettir that were pretty much like, say, hey, you need to respect these because you can scare off the Landvaettir spirits if you do the wrong things. One of the laws was specifically, if you had a Viking ship, right, and you know how they have the nice dragon on the top of the ship, you actually had to remove that headpiece off of the ship before you made contact with the land. That way you wouldn't scare off the Landvaettir, because that community didn't want to lose them. Because if they lost it, their crops would fail, they'd go into famine, there'd be death and disease. So it was really important to respect them, because when you start respecting them, then they can give you extra bountiful harvests, and things just go really well for you. Let's go. All right, so that's pretty much the first two aspects. Now we're going to dive into the soul. So we got Animism, Landvaettir. Now we're going into the soul, which is your Hamr, or Hamr, or Ham, whichever. This is your flexible form soul. This is your skin, or shape, or form. This is what makes up your first interaction with the people around you and the other spirits around you. So really, why is this important? Is because this is the first thing that the Landvaettir and, like, say, Joe Schmo down the road, the first way they're going to see you. If you are dirty and scraggly and not well kept, people are going to be like, yo, I don't know about him, right? So let me just refresh this to make sure it's still going. Yep. Yeah, we're still good. Anyways, so it's really important because the Landvaettir will judge you. You know, they say don't ever judge a book by a cover. Well, this is your cover. Your skin is your cover, and it's part of your soul. And so you need to keep it well maintained. So there's that. There's this thing called Hamr. This is strong hammer. I might have the pronunciation wrong on that, but then again, I don't speak the language, so apologies. So somebody who has a strong hammer, or we'll just go with strong ham. This strength is achieved through a powerful Hugr, or Hugr, which is what we're about to. Your spirit cannot project your true self if your physical medium is not well kept. Yes, Joshua, perfect. That is absolutely true. That's literally what I was just about to go within. This strength is achieved through a powerful Hugr, which is your mind, right? So both the mind and the skin work hand in hand. You have to have a strong hammer and a strong Hugr for them both to be interchanged with each other. I almost lost my train of thought here. Give me a second. Hopefully you can't hear that. I have no idea how good a quality this is, so hopefully you're not picking up every single tiny little thing. Anyways, one of the things that was really important about your Hamr is, so you've all heard of the legends of the Berserkers or the Ulfhednod. These are your the bear-based warriors, or the wolf shirts, the wolf skins, I think. I can't remember exactly what Ulfhednod translates to. But they've believed that the whole reason why they wore the pelts and the hides of these animals, because that was their ham, right? So they would put it on, and they would assume the powers and entities of that animal and become fierce and ferocious in battle. They would gain the strengths and qualities of those creatures. So that's one of the aspects of the spirit, so you can do that. Glad that it's clear. This is probably a lot better than my old drunken cooking videos, which was done on my phone. So now we're going to go into the Hugr, or the Hugr. This is your traveling thought soul, as we kind of went over earlier. This literally translates to thought, mind, or soul. There's a reference, if you've heard any of the sagas, the stories, and you understand Odin well enough, he has Hugin and Munin, and their names are thought and memory. They are both aspects of your spirit. So the Hugr is the powerful component of the spirit that represents an individual's conscious will and personality and active intelligence. This aspect of your soul for those who do shamanic journeys or prophetic dreams, this is a really, 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 really important aspect of your soul. This is we will get into in another lesson just how important it is, but it is what allows you to do those experiences. You have to have a very strong Hugr to be able to do this. And one of the reasons why, oh, no, let's not talk about that one yet. It's more complicated than I want to get into. We'll get on to that probably, I think that's the second lesson that I want to go in. They don't consume the spirit of the animal. You can possess another spirit, but you don't consume it. That spirit belongs to another entity. And much farther on in the lesson plans, I'll be able to explain that a little bit better. But if I were to put all of this into a thing, we'd be here for like 20 hours, and I don't want to do that. But you don't consume the spirit. You channel the spirit of that animal through you. You almost actually allow that spirit to possess you in a way. Like a good example is it's well known that first off, berserkers and ulfhednods were kind of shunned away from society, and they were very dangerous to have around with you in battle because they couldn't distinguish a friend versus a foe. So you really if you were friendly with them, you really wanted to stay away from them while they were doing their thing and just let them go completely ham. That's a little ironic. That's a really good pun. Let them go ham with their ham on the enemy. So, but going back to the Hugr, why does it exist? This is going to be the spirit, like I kind of already mentioned, this is the spiritual vehicle and the control center necessary for an individual to gain wisdom and exert influence beyond the physical body. So you can project this out of your body, like your mind, right? You can project it out in your dreams and other aspects. Oh, buddy. You're so cute. So it will provide will, intent, and necessary for magical acts, commanding the Hamr, or for influencing the world through spiritual focus, which I kind of already briefed on, and it's extremely necessary for shamanic travel, which again I've pretty much covered over that. The Hugr can actively separate from the body during sleep, meditation, acting as a spiritual projection or vehicle. This is going to be important, the vehicle part, that can travel vast distances. And the stronger your Hugr is, the farther you can go through this spiritual travel. If you're a weak Hugr, it's just going to linger in the room, and that's where you get like those vague memories. If you've ever had a dream where you're like, yeah, like I had this dream, it was kind of weird, but I don't really remember it. You got a weak Hugr going on that day. So strengthening your mind, doing mind exercises really helps strengthen that up, right? This also will end up having prophetic influences. A person's powerful Hugr can sometimes influence the dreams or the minds of others from a distance. So that's another thing, is you can alter things in the dream state. So you can pretty much manifest things to happen, right? I don't want to go too far into that one because lesson 4 really dives into some really deep stuff with that. He's really trying, isn't he? And I'm going to skip over some of it. Again, if you want the whole lesson, the link is down below. You can listen to that or read it. Or you can even get, I think it's 11 reader. If you download the document, you can actually take that downloaded document and upload it to 11 reader. And you can have it play back and you can listen to it like an audiobook if you're more of an audiobook person versus a reader. It's a really good tool. I've used it for a lot of stuff. It's been very helpful. So now we're going to go into the Fylgja. This is your spiritual companion and destiny guide. And as I said, there's two aspects. You're going to have your animal and your female guardian. Why does it exist? The Fylgja exists as the ultimate guardian and barometer of the individual's spiritual health, and your spiritual health, and enforcing the moral code required by the animistic world around us. Yes, I did write the lessons. Every single one of these, I'm going to have one of these documents linked with it, so you can go over and read them. And there's also going to be a song listed below, because some people listen and retain knowledge better through music, and I love to use music to teach. Granted, this is my first time ever teaching, so yeah. But I find that myself can retain the information a lot better through music. So, and actually, if you go to my YouTube profile and you go and you look at my albums, there's an album called Prophecy, and if you really want to get a head start on all of this, the entire lesson plan for my first, I don't know what to call it, semester, I guess you would say, is currently out. So you can listen to all of them and really get a really deep understanding of all of this. Where was I at? Dual aspects, the Fylgja manifests in 2 minutes. We did that. All right, so this is also, the Fylgja is life-bound. So the well-being of the Fylgja is intrinsically linked to the fate of the owner. So if it dies, your death is pretty much imminent. There's going to be some more stuff in here. I'll just put this down for a second. So I can't remember what the saga is exactly, but there's one where there's a dude, he's with his buddy, and he's like, hey man, I'm looking over there, and there's a goat, and it's bleeding to death. And this is obviously talking about a animal version of the Fylgja. You don't want to see your animal spirit within, while you're awake. So in this case, the buddy was like, I don't see it. Which means that's your Fylgja, man, and your goat Fylgja is bleeding out and dying. You're doomed to die, man. And later on in the saga, sure enough, he dies. Hi, Thorvin. How you doing? My son's over here. No, don't touch the whiteboard. There's his hand. Oh, he wants the dry erase markers. No, we're not going to go draw on the walls. Anyways, so yeah, like, if you see your Fylgja, your personal spirit animal guardian, in person, outside of a dream state, specifically dying, that's a problem. If it dies in a dream, that's also another problem. There's a lot of bad omens associated with it, but there's also good stuff too. So I'll just read this part. How does it function? The omen, we kind of already went over this, but I'll just straight from this so you can hear it, right? The omen, the Fylgja, usually remains unseen by the owner. Seeing the Fylgja while awake, not in a dream or trance, or witnessing the death in a dream is an undeniable omen of imminent death for the owner. It is a sign that the protection has failed or the purpose is complete. Hi, Becky. It also has moral enforcement, right? So because the Fylgja is often female, so that we're talking about the human aspect here of it, like the protector, the moral mandate of respect for women is extremely crucial. Mistreating women can cause the Fylgja to withdraw its protection, leading to severe misfortune. So, if I were to, hit my wife for some stupid reason, I would never do that, by the way. If I were to do that, there's going to be some serious misfortune. A logical conclusion, I'm going to jail, right? Yeah, that's probably not good. And while I'm in jail, people don't really like it when you beat on women. So I'm probably going to get beat up in the jail, if not worse. So, that's a pretty obvious version of it. But, it could be something as, you're interacting and, you just call a woman a terrible name. For whatever reason. That could cause something as specific as, say your car battery dies, like you're stuck at the grocery store now, and your car battery dies, and you have, bags of ice cream in there, and it's 110 degrees out. Well, you ain't going to have your ice cream by the time you get home. Hold on, let me read this. There's a see more button. So there is some ways where you can determine what form your Fylgja will take. One of the ones that's actually documented in historical literature, I guess you could say, is you can take a knife, right, and you wrap it in a cloth, right, and then you start passing that knife around you, and every pass you say, my Fylgja is a dog, my Fylgja is a cat, my Fylgja is, and then you just keep going through animals, right? When that cloth that's wrapped around that knife falls off, the animal that you listed with that will end up being the animal of which you have. But that one's a documented source on how it was figured out. The other thing is your Fylgja is really based upon traits that you have. So, and I do have a little bit of information on this one. So, like, if your Fylgja is a bear, it means that you had some sort of status. I have it written in here also like a king, but kings had their own one, which this one's really curious. Kings had the lion, which ironically, if you look at the English royal thing, I believe it's English, where they had the lion. It's really curious that is the thing, because also our Norse ancestors didn't exactly have lions there, but somehow they knew that lions existed. So there's that, amazing, right? And then if you're not such a very good person, your Fylgja could be a wolf. Usually, so a lot of people will be like, yeah, my spirit animal is a wolf. And they're like, yeah. 9 times out of 10, if your spirit animal is a wolf, you're a dick. You're just not a good person, and you have a lot of chaos and bad energy. There are some rare occasions where if you are an extremely loyal to a T, like a wolf pack loyalty level, that your Fylgja could be a wolf. Other things is, for women, their Fylgja is almost specifically a bird. Birds are the Fylgja of women, and just flat out. So like a raven, a crow, an owl, an eagle, a little parakeet, all of those could be the Fylgja of a woman. And we have a nice little windstorm coming in.
The witch.
All right. She said something funny while I'm drinking. That's great. I kind of got a little off. Oh, yeah. Oh, another one that I should probably mention, because I saw it here. It's really important, is most common people's Fylgjas, at least back then, were bull or oxen. These are going to be people who have good, like honor and integrity. And you have a very strong, honorable integrity. You're a good moral person as a man. You're going to have probably a bull or an ox. Yeah, like I said down here, wolf suggests fierce loyalty or a dark blight. I guess I did write in there lions. Yeah, I did. Lions denote status. Is there any speculation as to the reasoning for different spirit animals based on genders? That's a good question, actually. I've never really thought about that. I'll have to look into that one, actually. I haven't really ever thought about that, but it is a curious question. I know that it's not always exclusively women. There is one saga where it talks about the woman's Fylgja was, what is those things with the teeth and it's not a seal, walrus. Yeah, she was a walrus, which is a little curious. It might have been a derogatory term at the time. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Let's go on to the next part. Your Hamingja. So let's say we got Fylgja. Oh, this is the last. That's the last part. Wow, we screamed right through this one. So this is the spirit of inherited luck and power or good fortune, right? It's typically, again, a female spiritual energy. It it's very common to see this paired tightly with your Fylgja. Little man dude sitting in the chair like a little sir. It's kind of cute. So it serves as your spiritual momentum for a person's success, power, and prosperity. So this is going to be how well you do in life. If you have a good, strong Hamingja, you're going to have a lot of good luck. But you could be a very successful person and not be the nicest to women, and maybe you just get hurt a lot. But still, like within business, because you have all this confidence and charisma, you still do well there. But if you're disrespectful to women, the Hamingja female spirit will, you can get injured, or maybe you'll get sick. Like say, you have illness all the time. Hello, Holden. Hey, Holden, you want to go to bed? Come on, bud. Oh, there it goes. That was my dog. He decided his design was, instead of go to the bed when he brought in, he was going to come out here. Why does your Hamingja exist? It exists as the system of reward and inheritance that motivates honorable behavior and ensures the continuation of the family success. That's actually another really good point. Is your Hamingja will move through the family generation. That also brings me to the point is your Fylgja can also pass on through family generations. And this one, the Hamingja, you can, both of them actually, you can lend out. So with your Fylgja, you can lend the female protector out to a family member or a extremely close friend if they're going into, say, battle or fighting someone. I forgot to touch on that one. To help give them extra protection, right? And you can pretty much do the same thing with your Hamingja. You can lend it out. So to try to help bring good fortune to somebody if they're going on a journey, ensure hope that they, like, say Leif Erikson, instead of having his boat capsized in the ocean, he lands on land. And now we have Newfoundland. Right. Anyways. It's the quantifiable reward for successful navigating the animistic world by respecting the Vettir around us, the spirits, right, and maintaining moral integrity. It will be the legacy that is the mechanism that makes success within a family. So there's a saga out there where a guy, he saves a dude who they don't get along very well, but he saves the guy, and the guy says, my Hamingja for my spirit from here on for the next couple generations. I can't remember exactly how many. I think it was like 9 or something. It's usually 9. Will bring you guys good luck and look after you. But then like the lady's. The guy's wife, not husband. Why am I getting this backwards? Anyways, so the guy who did the saving, his wife didn't like the guy that he saved because there was tension, right? And the wife pretty much was like being really mean to the guy that was saved. And then he kind of, when he granted the good luck to the man who saved him, he pretty much said, but for the women, you will not have good Hamingja and you will be cursed, basically, and always have misfortune. And there was a lot of misfortune in the female line, but for the following generations, the men of that family that did the saving, they had really good Hamingja. So you can pass this along, but you can also lose it for generations if you were not the nicest person. That was kind of the moral in that story. Oh yeah, I should probably say you can lose it. So the name for losing it is called Hamingja, or bad Hamingja, bad luck, misfortune, right? And these are due to bad luck, and pretty much what I just said there. And I've already gone over the inheritance and the lending out the power. That's pretty much everything that I needed to cover in this lesson. There is a conclusion section that you can kind of go over if you want. But pretty much in summary, this lemon? Yeah, it's good lemon. Sour. This lemon, I can't read apparently. Anyway, this lesson is going to pretty much, this is the opener information on what animism is, what the Vaettir or Landvaettir are, which are spirits around us. I never even got to say my favorite quote. Not quote, but like concept of what a spirit is. So I'm going to do that really quick. Let's minimize that. I don't know if you can see it still. Well, you kind of can. It's like right here. So an example of spirits around us, right, is, say, fire. Take fire, for example. I know, I'm kind of like bouncing all over the place, but again, I've never done teaching, so whatever. Anyways, fire is, it's not to be commanded. It's something that you negotiate. So if you try to command and control fire and you disrespect the fire, say I disrespected it here and I was completely careless, I could burn down my house. So I have to understand that that fire has extreme amount of power behind it, and I need to respect it. The spirit of fire needs to be respected, or else I could have a lot of misfortune, or bad Hamingja, right? Oh, Hamingja. So that was one of my favorite descriptions of it, is fire is not commanded, or the spirits around you are not commanded. They are negotiated with. And that's a pretty standard thing that you're going to see throughout the animistic world. Let me pull up the chat screen again because I moved it. Aside from that, because I'm pretty much done with explaining this first lesson, anybody have any questions other than what was already asked? I will give it a little while. You got to enjoy some mead, by the way. I wish we had better mead around here, but we don't. This is our local hidden legend stuff, which most of them are they're pretty I personally like dansk mjod, which we don't have any on display up there. All right, well that's good that it was pretty similar. That is honestly, I'm gonna just touch on that one. So if you end up watching or listening to my videos, eventually you're gonna get to something called one of the songs called One Code. I don't know if I linked it in there or not, but I did a really big project. I actually linked it in the Discord that I recently joined. And if none of you guys have seen this, Jason Savage. Yeah, you're gonna give the dog food bowl to the dry erase board. Anyways, he has a YouTube channel called How to Heathen, and he's got a lot of really good information on there. Especially like he's focusing on like how to do heathenry in the modern day, right? I would heavily suggest go see his channel, follow it. There's a Discord, a lot of good people in there. So yeah. So if you have a slightly diminished, or if you have Hamingja because of ancestors, the best thing you can try to do is do good deeds. You need to, it's kind of the yin and the yang, right? So if there was some bad stuff that happened, you need to replace it to balance it out, because everything around here is within balance. So you got to rebalance it out, and if you balance it up well enough, or you crest that threshold, you can go from oh Hamingja to good to just Hamingja, not good Hamingja, whatever. I think you guys get the point on what I'm saying there. Brain, going back, my YouTube thing, because I bounced around a little bit there. I tend to do this. It's ADHD all over the place. This is specific to what Joshua was saying. I did a thing where I studied, what was it, like 23 different religions, from Native American to Hindu to Taoism, to the Aztecs, Christianity. I went all the way through all of the Christianity lineage to the Israelites pre-Judaism. and to the Canaanites, Greek, etc., and I tallied it all into a spreadsheet. And then I was like, what are 55 really important aspects of all of these? And I tallied all that into another spreadsheet. And I just labeled everything across. And I came to a really startling conclusion, which probably isn't really that startling if anybody thinks about it. We're pretty much, they all follow 3 basic rules. You got balance, law, and transcendence. All of them are pretty much the same damn thing, just they have different routes on how they get to the same location. They want to have law to establish balance, and if you establish that balance, you can transcend. But you can also transcend in multiple different ways. People think transcend is like you're going up. You could also go somewhere lower, or you could just get thrown back into the rebirth cycle. Joshua, you want to attract the good Hamingja by doing good and helping others. That way, you'll be gifted from persons. Yeah, exactly what Joshua just said. Is you want to do good acts. You want to balance that back out. So yeah, Joshua's exactly right on that. Anything else? Because I don't know when did I start this? I think I started at 6. Yeah, I wanted somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour. So if nobody else has any questions, I will replay the song and let the live stream do its thing, and I'll end it once the song's done. And you can leave a comment as well during the song if you have another question or something comes up, and I will text a response back to that, or text you personally in a message responding to your question. So I'll give it a couple minutes to see if there's any other questions, but you are welcome. I hope this was halfway decent. Again, I've never done this before. This is kind of a test bed for a personal project. Eventually, I want to be doing lessons in person at my residence. I want to convert my detached garage into a place where I can pretty much teach stuff and do stuff like, by the way, for anyone who's really into this stuff, last night was Samhain. I hope y'all had a really good Samhain, and you had moments with the ancestors of yours, because that's when the veil cracks and is thinnest. But this is specifically to the Celtic belief system of paganism. Coming up, I believe it's the 4th or the 5th of November, we have Alpha Blot. That is the Norse version of the same thing. But it's more based off the moon cycle, so it'll be, I believe it's a full moon is when it'll be Alpha Blot. But same basic concept. So I hope you all had a good one, but something I would love to be able to start doing in person in a large group setting is proper ceremonies, showing people how to actually believe the old ways of Norse paganism instead of the really Hollywood version that people tend to do that is really super cringe. I can't say that I'm not guilty of doing the same damn thing when I first got into it. Yeah, I said 4th or 5th. Thank you. Yeah, see, 5th. Thank you, Brandon. I knew it was somewhere around there. So, those who are local, and that's again why I'm doing it on Facebook, because most of these people are pretty local to me. Oh no, Billy the Goat is decapitated! Y'all should see my Billy the Yule Goat. She's gonna bring it. I can't even, there's his head. Yeah, and there's, oh my god, he's glittery. I'm gonna get all glittery. Ugh. No, child cable. That's a terrible. All right, so again, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna let the song play, and got any other questions? Leave it. I'll answer them in a personal message, right? So, have a good day. Can't forget to meet. Awesome. I'm doing this again next weekend. It's a weekendy thingy.
Hey-oh, yeah, hey-oh. Hear this. All who attend in this sacred forest grove. All things have a spirit that moves where you rove. They are the Landvaettir.
This world is sentient, fiercely alive. The Landvaettir spirits keep watch on the coast, protecting the valley, the world you hold most. We treat them as persons with honor and dread, for safety will vanish if reverence is dead. The law of the gift is the contract we keep, an offering given while the wild forest sleep.
In the flame that bright, fierce spiritual heat is not mastered by man, but is humble to me. It grants warmth to the heart, a reprieve from the cold, but to man's deep reverence, or the tale is untold.
Its power is fierce, a consuming desire, so negotiate softly and call it divine. That make up your core, the life force you carry and what you strive for. The Hugr is your thought, your conscious design, the strong willful mind that breaks every line. It leaves the frail body when slumber is deep, a seeking self-line while your weak limbs sleep. The stronger your Hugr, the greater its scope. Your thoughts can influence, your fears bring down hope.
Your Fylgja is waiting to guide through the years, a double spirit that conquers your fears. The Valkyrie protector is the power you own, who holds a sharp fate that is fiercely unknown. If you see it awake, your own death is nigh. If the animal falls and the soul thread will die.
The animal Fylgja reveals what you are, a mirror of status that travels afar. The bear speaks of leaders, the bull shows great might. The wolf is fierce loyalty or dark hidden blight. The fox shows the cunning of wizards and seers, but birds are for women who conquer all fears. Look deep at the beast that reflects your true worth. It shows what you're known for upon this wide earth. You forge a spiritual river that swells at the gorge. Do deeds of great honor and your bright luck will grow. Be wicked and knowing just shadows will flow. This power is transferable when your life is done. A legacy earned underneath the sun. The wealth of the spirit is the kindness you sow. This covenant of kinship is all that you know. Your Hugr's quick thought and your Fylgja's true power. Your Hamingja rests on this critical hour. For the soul cannot flourish, its luck won't be sown if the Landvaettir's law is forgotten and left unknown.
Master your good. Let your Hamingja flow. Honor the spirits in all that you know. Now go, my children. Be the stewards of the land.